from Liezl Books, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I'm just a girl who likes reading romance, fantasy romance, paranormal romance, any kind of genre of romance in general. And I also happen to have cerebral palsy, and it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe to my channel. I also hope watching my videos can make your day just a little bit brighter. Here are my top 10 best books of 2025. We're going from 10 to 1. Number 10, 10 Ways to Accidentally Fall in Love. Brad and Joey, and they become gym bros. Brad makes it his mission to find Joey, his special someone. He sets Joey up on dates. Brad decides to be the best wingman for Joey, but Brad ends up falling for Joey instead. The things Brad says is just so funny. The book made me cackle. I laughed so hard. And the audiobook, I listened to the audiobook when the audiobook came out, and it was just super funny and lighthearted. It made me smile so much. Not the Island. Dylan and Adrian. Dylan and Adrian has been childhood friends since they were 8 years old. They are next door neighbors. Dylan has been pining for him for years, and they grow up years later. Adrian is engaged to this girl. Dylan can't take it anymore, so he goes to college in a separate state. Adrian gets engaged. The plane crash lands, and they're stuck on this island, and Adrian develops feelings for Dylan, romantic feelings that he'd never felt before. They get found by people, and Adrian has to decide who is he going to choose, his best friend that he developed romantic feelings for, or his fiance. I still think about the confession scene when Dylan finally admits his feelings for Adrian. That confession scene plays on a loop in my head. In 8th place, Crossing Arizona, Zed and Maddie. Zed has always had feelings for Maddie. It's always a one-sided crush. And Maddie has always had this terrible girlfriend named Hannah. And he's a single father. And when Hannah is finally out of the picture, Zed thinks they could actually be something. But Hannah comes back into the picture, and Zed gives Maddie an ultimatum in the first book. You have to choose. It's either me or Hannah. And he chooses his baby mama. Their friendship is broken in the first book. And in their book, Crossing Arizona, Maddie is getting married to his baby mama, Hannah, and Zed goes to Vegas to be there for the wedding, and stuff ensues, and you find out why Maddie chose Hannah in the first place, and oh, it's so heartbreaking, because you see Maddie pull on Zed's heartstrings, and you feel for Zed, and you don't understand why Maddie is making all these choices that he's making when he's clearly in love with his best friend. But when you see his perspective and you figure out the why, oh, it's so heartbreaking. 7th place, Never Let Me Go. Gavin, and I think you have to read the first book in the series because in the first book in the series, Gavin is seen as the villain. He did some terrible things to the main character in the first book. We're following Gavin's redemption story. Gavin and Beck used to be best friends, but then Gavin turned into Beck's tormentor. They used to be in wrestling together, but then years later, Gavin went to jail for the stuff he did in book 1, and he gets out of jail, and he's out on the street. And Blair sees him on the street, and he thinks that Gavin is going to do something really bad to himself. So Beck takes it upon himself to be there for Gavin. He handcuffs him to his side. He doesn't let him leave. If he has to leave for work, he handcuffs Gavin to the bed because he doesn't want him to do anything suicidal to himself, because Beck experienced that with his mom, and he doesn't want the same thing to happen to his former best friend, even though he treated Beck like shit. Because of the situation that they're in, Gavin and Beck grow closer again, and Beck learns why Gavin is the way he is. You see Gavin in his journey to redemption, and it was just so good. In 6th place, Fragile Façade, Soren and Killian, who are both part of this secret society in this town. Soren is always seeking death and adventure because all the men in his family end up dying. So he thinks he's the next to go. He's a thrill seeker. And then we have Killian, who is the one that prevents him from going over the edge of death, basically. And Killian and Soren knew each other for a while because their brothers are dating each other. Soren is a narcissist and Killian is a psychopath, and it's their romance. It's dark. Who knew watching a narcissist and a psychopath fall in love would be my thing? 5th place, the mercenary and the mortician. Callum is the mercenary. He's a contract killer, but as a side job, he saves kids from being abused. And one day, he decides to kill this mortician because he thinks he's putting this kid in danger, but the kid stops him, saying, "No, don't hurt him. This is Ryan. Ryan is my friend. He lets me be safe." And after that situation, Callum becomes obsessed with Ryan. He starts stalking Ryan. But the thing about Ryan is he can see ghosts, and when he sees Callum, he sees all these angry spirits yelling at him around him. Callum doesn't take no for an answer. He shows up in Ryan's life, keeps asking him out on a date, and eventually Callum wears Ryan down, and they begin dating each other, and then Callum learns the people he's working for since he was like a teen, basically, he's not so legit as he thought. Fourth place, rap. It's a stepbrother romance. Ezra and Josh. Ezra feels like he can never up to his perfect stepbrother Josh. He left his mom's um, house to live with his dad. He is forced to live with his dad and his new stepbrother Josh. And they are antagonistic to each other. But then that behavior turned into curiosity, and that curiosity developed into something more. And they have a secret relationship, but then one day Ezra disappeared in the middle of nowhere, and Josh did not know what happened to him. A few years later, he meets Ezra again, but Ezra has amnesia and emotional. The things that Ezra went through in his past, oh, it was just so heartbreaking. Third place, The Fall. Torrey, who's a hockey player who's not happy in his life, who's not happy in his own skin. And in the beginning of the book, he's contemplating suicide, but he doesn't go through with it. He's not in a good position with his hockey team. He can't tell his dad the truth about what he's really feeling, but then Tori gets on the ice, there's an accident, and Tori wakes up from a coma a year later in a different team in a relationship with a man named Blair, the captain of the new team. Tori is happier than he's ever been, but he cannot remember how he got there in the first place. And that's all I can say about this book, because it's better if you go in blind. Second place, Sweet Wicked Thing by Jesse Walker. Two foster brothers who grew up in the same abusive foster home, and there was a tragic incident, and Ashton goes to an insane asylum because of what happened to that night, that tragic night, and Val goes on to be adopted by one of the police officers handling the case. And years later, Ashton gets freed from this insane asylum, goes into high school, and sees Val again in the same high school. Val is a football player, and all he wants to do is forget what happened in the past, but Ashton is not going to let him forget. In this book, you're really left to question who's the psychopath in this relationship, because Ashton went to the insane asylum to deal with what happened in that house. He knows, like, he has processed his trauma, like, he doesn't run away from it, but Val pushes his trauma way down. He never talks about that incident, so you're left wondering who is really the insane one out of the two. This book is a mind trip, and no one dives into the psyche of her characters, quite like Jesse Walker. I cannot wait for book 2 in this duet. In first place, that goes to King of Pain, Anthony and Chance. Anthony and Chance work at the same record store, and they become best friends, and it grows into something more. But before anything can happen physically between them, Anthony leaves, and he doesn't tell Chance why he leaves, and it turns into a second chance romance because a few years later, Anthony comes back into Chase's life, and he has to be honest with Chase about why he left. Anthony was part of like the mob basically, and he's finally out of that situation, and he has to be honest with Chance about it, and Chance has to decide if he's going to give Anthony a second chance. I love this book so much. It's a French to lovers book, and they connect over their love of 80s music, and I just loved it. It made me so emotional, and I cried a lot. This book turned me into a French to lovers girly, because I've always been an enemies to lovers. Those are my top 10 romance books of 2025. Please let me know if you have read any of these books. I would love to know. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Liking this video would help me out a lot. And I'll see you Wednesday. Bye.